All right, cool. Shall we move on to um, the topic of Omen and Ethereum? I think it would be great to sort of sync up on like what is the latest with that initiative and I guess like timeline and what the execution will look like, and I guess how best to put the message out there to people who may have been stopped by the gas prices.
Yeah, so I can do that. The smoothness of the plan got derailed a little bit because there are some technical issues. This gets pretty complicated because Omen uses smart contract wallets, Ethereum uses smart contract wallets, and the communication between those two in the process of using Omen, it gets a bit messy, and something's not working for sometimes, like mainly like creating markets and things like that. So a lot of people, some people have had success trading markets for free using Ethereum, but creating markets is still a problem. So if identifying the problem and solving the problem has has not been uh, has not been figured out. So that's why we haven't gone like super wide with it. We've only shared it among Omen Telegram and DXDAO community and like one other small community. Um, but also the drawback is that a lot of people don't have Ethereum wallets and aren't really aware of it, and some don't want one, it seems. And so we've only had maybe 17 transactions so far by probably 8 or so people. So it would be good to have more DXDAO related people trying it out and testing it before we start tweeting it out to the bigger community. So that's quite a few moving parts. The technical issue is a problem because if we announce this and then like it doesn't work for some of the people, that's not a good experience, right? So that's that's one of the things that's been holding it back, and we're still working on the technical issues. Um, but yeah, and on top of that, there's a plan to integrate like login with Ethereum into like the Omen experience, which has MetaMask and Wallet Connect right now. So that's also going to be worked on, which makes it even easier because the process now you kind of have to have Ethereum on your phone if you're using Omen on your laptop. So it would be easier if you can just log in with Ethereum straight into Omen. So that will make another obstacle make it easier. So we're moving things forward, but they're not moving as fast as we want, which is why we haven't like told the world that you can use Ethereum and use Omen for free with zero gas fees yet. So that's the summary.
Cool. Thanks for the update, Sky.
Yeah.
Um, so I think like if given we figure out like the um, the way to do this to use Ethereum without issues, I guess we would have to create, and we were comfortable with like putting the message out there. We'd have to create like easy ways to tell people how to like participate, right? So some way of explaining like you can get it's possible to trade for free for unlimited time on Omen. Um, you just have to follow these steps like exactly. So right.
Yeah, exactly. So we can make that. I mean, those steps are like probably 4 or 5 simple steps like that you could even tweet out. I mean, Twitter and Gnosis, I know, was excited to tweet about it too. So Twitter is a great way to spread it, but we can also drop those steps in a bunch of different community chats and stuff. Like, it's not going to get published in some like media publication. So we're just gonna, once it works, we can just start spreading it more, and I think people will find out about it. You know, there is a drawback that some people don't want to create more wallets. Like, but if it depends how bad you want to trade for free with no gas. It is a great experience. If you all try it, you will see it's pretty amazing not having to worry about the gas like cost because you can literally trade any market you want, even if it's for like $10 or something small, and you can start trying and testing all these markets. and you can put on the position you want, and the gas is factored out. So it's actually a really good experience if you try it. So please do.
Cool. Hear that, everybody? Omen free for a limited time transactions. Maybe worth downloading a new wallet on your phone to do so. Okay, so next, I guess we can discuss the DX swap launch. If anyone here knows like how much closer we are to like the official launch, we can sort of strategize around like what to do around that, from announcements to content, explaining the strategy and explaining the initiative, media appearances, and I guess it's a liquidity war, so we're going to need people reaching out to liquidity providers and other communities, and if these communities do make enough noise, we could have these projects come over to like our products. Like as you've seen with DHedge, they had a survey in their Discord, and Mesa won by a landslide. And because of that, that they're now in the Mesa UI. So I think they would be like an easy layup for potential DX swap pool. And I think it does hinge on how well their sale is, and how happy their community is with it. But I think if we start approaching these organizations that are very close to this DAO, we can conquer certain pairs, and it's gonna be a very targeted approach. We're not going to necessarily win out the gate on every pair, but I think it's something to think about. Is there going to be LM? What does that mean?
Liquidity mining?
Oh, sorry. That is planned. I know Powers probably knows more about like this timing of it than I do. It may be sometime after the launch. Does anyone want to?
Yeah, I can talk to DX swap stuff right now. Just share my screen. Okay, so we had a call on Friday to follow up on kind of things to decide for launch strategy going forward, and from a high level perspective, dividing things into a couple different buckets here. I've got launch parameters, iteration roadmap, and then outstanding questions. And I think it's just important to put these things into buckets as we kind of help prioritize and focus on different things. So launch parameters is what we need to like deploy the first set of contracts, what we need to get from the community, what we need to get, and ultimately set as initial parameters. So really there are like three components to this. One is fees, two is the initial supply of funds from the DAO's treasury, and then three is deployment and fund allocation. This is the actual approving and how it gets submitted through a proposal. So in terms of fees, I think these are the only, and this is kind of what I'm hoping to kind of finalize and get the community's feedback here. And so I've kind of tried to simplify everything into the things that are actually needed. So the protocol fee, which is the DXDAO's take, is set at 1/10 of the swap fee. So if it was 0.3% for Uniswap, then that would be 0.3% for a pool, that would be 0.03%. If it's 0.1% for a pool, that means 0.01%. The second is default pool fee, and then the third is the max fee. And I don't know if Augusto is on the call, but I wanted to talk about these in a second. And then moving to the sponsored liquidity, we talked about this on Friday. You can kind of see the initial ones there. This is 1 million in total liquidity. I did add the PNK ETH pair because there's about $50,000 worth of PNK in the treasury. So I think we could, DXDAO could supply that as a initial pool there. And then so for all of these, of course, setting the 0.1% pool fee. So that's kind of the sponsor pools, and then there's actually like how the funds get there, which I don't know what the kind of latest is on working through the relayer, but just there's some technical integration that needs to get done there. Returning to the fees, I just want to make sure I have each of these correct. I highlighted the default pool fee and the max fee. The default pool fee, I don't really know. I guess we have to set in some way. So this would be if someone came along and wanted to create a random pair, a pool for a random pair, what is the default pool? What is the default fee for that pool? So for Uniswap, obviously it's 0.3%. And so I don't know if we would have to set a default fee for this. And I put 0.1% on here because if we're having the DXD rewards in other pools, right, and I have the ones that we listed below here, if we have those pools that do not have DXDAO liquidity, then there's no, I'm not sure how we would set the initial fee to like 0.1%. So I think we need to decide that. And then the max fee, I believe we had hard coded in this in at 5%, but I think we have to check with the Gusto on that. And so, yeah, so these are kind of what I hope to nail down, and then you can see the next steps for this. I want to post this to the forum today to get some feedback, allow the community to see it. And then I do think it's good to get a signal proposal for these parameters maybe this week, which would be separate from some kind of like full deployment, just so we could get some signal from rep holders that this is a good way of going forward. Yeah, and then I can talk about the iteration roadmap, which I think we should do the same thing there, but I just want to stop and talk and see if there's kind of thoughts, comments on the launch parameters and anything in this top part that we need before deployment. Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is for the incentive for the, so let me just actually open up this spreadsheet. I think I have it here, yeah. So for these pools, like we're gonna own the liquidity because they are supplied by DXDAO. That's gonna be a substantial chunk already, and we're gonna set the 0.1% there. But we also hope to own these pools, and we're going to incentivize deposits into them through DXD rewards. But we, in a perfect world, to own these pairs, we also want the fees on this to be very low, because that's what traders would be paying. So that's why whatever we set as the default fee for the whole protocol will presumably also affect the actually really just these 7 pairs here, because these are the incentivized pools that are not directly supplied by the DXDAO in terms of deposits.
Got it. They're not coming from the DXDAO's treasury, correct? But they could be incentivized with DXD. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, so these are the pools that we've talked about having DXD rewards for. The question is, what is the fee going to be for those pools? Because the ones that the DXDAO is supplying liquidity, it will set the fee at 0.1%. But for pools that it's not supplying liquidity, it will be whatever is the like initial default fee. And from a trader, if we want to own pairs and entice traders, low fees are the best, with the hope being that the low fees are offset to liquidity providers by DXD liquidity mining rewards.
Yeah, and some of the liquidity providers may be those projects themselves, right? So
Right.
maybe what if it's and you wanted something lower than 0.3 to get aggregator business, so something between, like, the middle would be 0.15. So the question is, should it be higher than like the 0.1 that we're using aggressively on our own pools that we're supplying, or should it be the same?
Yeah, I liked 0.15. I thought that was, but I only thought to just, if we're going to do 0.1% for our own pools, just keeping it standard. But I think 0.15% like makes kind of the most sense from a like default fee, still not, you know, slashing fees,
Yeah,
but having a sizable difference.
yeah, like, and default fee is half the fee of Uniswap. Like
Right. That's a good.
0.15 makes sense. But we can still change those to 0.1 manually.
Right.
So 0.15 default seems fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of random. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
so
so half the people in the survey like voted for like 0.2 or 0.1. So like 0.15 could be pretty pertinent to those interests.
exactly.
So like
We're actually using 0.15 because that's what the community decided.
There we go.
yeah, we could say that, yeah. Word. I saw ALN in there. They're really interested in like
Yeah.
real partnership, like real like advisory, like help with governance, like platform integration. They're really like proactive on it, and it may be worth like talking to them to see what could come of it. It's kind of like a side topic, but I wanted to just bring that up.
Yeah, I agree. I've like put them in there because they've been so eager and supportive, but I haven't actually. I think we could figure out something, more specific for them too. And then just briefly before I move on, and so, go ahead.
Larray, did you want to say something? I saw that Larray is asking to speak.
No, I didn't. I must have accidentally pushed the hand raise.
Larray from our team.
Yeah. No, I didn't actually put my hand.
Because we're actually scheduled to say a few things. So if you guys want to, happy to chat.
Yeah, let me just say one more thing, and then I'll hand it off on DXSwap. So just you can see the launch parameters of things we're just talking about there. The iteration roadmap are things, because rewards are not going to be baked into the protocol. That's something that we can kind of have being run on a concurrent track. And we've talked about some of the things there. These are the pools we've kind of agreed upon there. And then there's the launch rewards and the long-term incentive rewards. The launch rewards just need a little bit more tinkering. And then I think we need to do some more research on kind of introducing a time decay on the long-term incentive rewards. And then the other two things to think about are just governance of the pools and how LPs will interact with adjusting the fees or anything, both initially in that process going directly through the DXDAO in the way it will have to be in the launch, and then also going forward with some type of more formal on-chain voting. And then, just the last thing is thinking about DXSwap.eth and token list and other things about the front end specific to upgrade that. And so those are all things that we'll keep working on. Cool.
Awesome. So Eyal, would you like to speak? I'm sorry that I didn't put it in the agenda. That was my fault.
Sure. So we actually have a few things that we wanted to chat about. One of them is the ad that we have, the ad that you guys have on our site. So I understood that Daniel has talked about modifying it a little bit and capping the additional ETH that we're getting to sorry, to a maximum of 2 ETH for 200 clicks, or that you guys requested that. Does anyone know anything about it?
Right. That was discussed.
Okay, so just so okay, so we're perfectly fine with that. That's great. Sorry, that's absolutely not a problem. And does anyone want our comment on a specific? I mean, I heard that you guys are interested in doing governance and as a service, and this is definitely something that would be interesting to us, both in terms of being involved in actual governance, which is to me a personal passion, or in providing data, which DXbiz already does, and we can give more than that. If we create a spec together of what it means to actually do governance as a service. I was wondering if there's any beginning for designing a service like that.
I would say we talked about it a lot and exploring a lot of different things, but have not figured out what this substantial kind of.
Anyone?
Yep, Powers is answering. I'm not sure if you can hear him.
Hey, Al, can you hear us? I think you might have to shut off your video just because it's cutting out, and I'm not sure if you're catching.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can anyone hear me actually?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think so. Basically, the question there was to follow up with your guys' ad banner on our site. I wasn't sure if Daniel actually discussed topping it up or not. So that's kind of the question here first.
Got it.
Yeah, I think that sorry, go ahead, Ingemar.
Oh wow. So yeah, I guess we're coming up on the end of the first month of the engagement. So we would probably need to, I guess, get some data. I'm sorry if I have not, if you provide it and I did missed looking at it, but I think it would be interesting to see what the performance metrics have looked like. And of course, you know, if we hit that metric of like the clicks for that additional bounty, I suppose we must honor that agreement of the additional ETH payout for that. But do you have the analytics or any data for the first month?
Yeah, we do actually. We have both Google Analytics and Mixpanel. So every view is tracked and every click is tracked. I don't have it in front of me, but I think in terms of the metrics, we'll go over the 50 click-throughs. This is pretty certain. I'm not sure we'll reach more than 100 click-throughs. So it would result in being about half an ETH at most. Or really, it would probably be a half an ETH, but not more than that.
Mm.
and
Okay.
this is for the first month. For the next few months, we're completely okay with capping it at 200 click-throughs, so 2 ETH maximum.
Okay. So
I understand that this is what.
Right. I think if we look at the data, I think we can sort of discuss the performance and effectiveness of the campaign. I think it's a great experiment to have, and I think the ad looks very good. So if you can provide that in like the DXbiz channel, that would be great for us to sort of look at and discuss.
Sure, we'll do that. I'll do that next week so that we have a little bulk of information.
That would be great. Anything else regarding Deep Down?
So 2 things. Again, if you guys are interested in us being involved in the idea of governance as a service, we would absolutely love to do that. It's something that's very interesting for us. And whether we're helping with data or actually being involved with speccing or designing the service, this is in our core, really our core passion about DAOs. So we'll be happy to do that. And also, I want to pitch an idea to you guys and see and get a response. So the idea is to get the valuation or the value of DAOs, the full valuation of DAOs. So right now we're listing DAOs and ranking them by AUM, which is our default, and several other metrics, which are interesting. But the AUM metrics is really just checking what DAOs have in their Ethereum account. And the actual value is probably much higher. For example, if you take the DXDAO, which is a classic example of that, you guys own products, or VC DAOs own investments, and other DAOs own non-fungible assets like cars or real estate. So doing this kind of research and actual evaluation is really important for the ecosystem. And what we are doing right now, we created a proposal for doing the research into the methodology and taking a few DAOs and running a very first version of this evaluation to sort of test it and see where it is. So this is the idea. I think it's really, I'm both curious, and I think it's something that would move every single DAO that is like the DXDAO forward, and the entire ecosystem. It would allow people from the outside of our bubble to really understand the value of DAOs, which potentially could increase adoption and investment.
So like in-depth profiling and analyses of DAOs, is that more or less like the direction you're trying to go? Yeah.
In-depth and specifically geared towards understanding value. So in the end, giving a number and the range of, really a range of numbers. This DAO is valued between this and that, and the degree of confidence that we have in our evaluation, and of course the metrics.
I find that really interesting, honestly, because each DAO obviously has different goals, and different metrics matter to them, and these DAOs operate so differently and have varying levels of reliance on blockchain, and some things are handled off chain to varying degrees. So maybe it does make sense to sort of profile these organizations individually, so that so that I guess maybe they can be better looked at side by side.
Right. Exactly. Both side by side and each DAO for its own right. You know, when you look at the reports that Delphi Digital did on DXDAO, which is fascinating, they're using our data in several places. I think they can use much more data that we can provide, and also really do the monetary evaluation in a deeper sense.
I think
Yeah.
that would be really cool, actually. They'd probably be interested in, I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, I know Delphi is interested in kind of gathering data, putting in different things. So yeah, I mean, we can try to figure a way to get all of us doing something.
Cool. So should we post this to DAO Talk and see how the community reacts?
I think that would be a great way to go, and you know, and also I think you know, we'd be interested in like assisting with that profiling, because I think it helps the DAO, it helps the DX DAO like understand itself in a way.
Yep.
Just based, you know, based on how deep you want to go. So that could be, I would appreciate a thread on it, and perhaps we can build on how best to execute it. Sound good?
Terrific. Let's create a channel and start conversing on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sounds good. I do want to make some time, I guess, for regarding Rails launch and just general media updates and some content strategy ideas I have in mind. So Rails, I think, is really quick. I think it's coming out pretty soon, and we do have like an article in the chamber for it. I think we're just waiting on like a definitive, reliable like link to put in it, where that version is, you know, I don't know, not buggy. I think there's some final things to work out. Shout outs to Sky for testing back and forth with Lucy and giving some great feedback. I think that's it within regards to Rails, but yeah, we're gonna, like, we have a Twitter channel for it, so that'll be kind of the latest new like social media. Yeah.
Ingemar, is like once Federico says it's ready and it's has to be deployed to rails.eth, right? So that's through a proposal, I think. So would you post the article once that proposal passes? Because that's when you can actually go to rails.eth. Before that, you won't be able to. Pretty sure.
I'm fine with that, and it probably makes sense to not like share the Netlify app, because then like once it like resolves to rails.eth like that, well, I could probably just edit it, right? But it's up to you guys. Like, I'm itching to get this out there. I know Zoran's excited to have this out, so you know, it's up to you guys, and like what makes the most sense.
I think someone needs to put the proposal in then, if it's ready to go.
Is it ready to go? Because it looked like Federico is still.
Well, I think we should wait for it to be ready to go and then move forward with
with the proposal, right? Yeah. So he the latest message in the Rails channel, he says he has a few last things to fix. In which case, but like after that, I think yeah, we can run that proposal, and I'll make sure someone does it. So okay, other content. We've got about like 5 appearances spread across myself, Powers, and John, and I think it's really exciting, and I think it's a new kind of direction we're going with, like publicity for the DXDAO, and it might make sense that we keep an eye out for like further opportunities to make appearances and promote the release of these 2 new products. So yeah, if you guys see any good conferences or podcasts, or if you know someone you can potentially get a spot for the DXDAO on, like that, I think that's a great new thing to pursue.
I also agree from a media standpoint. I'm going to pass you guys around to the podcast that we typically circulate and media. Just wanted to get the okay there. So that's pretty sweet.
Thanks a lot, Larry.
Yeah, no worries.
I do have a launch article for DXSwap that I just posted like shortly before this call started. It would be great to get some feedback on that. I know we can add some more. I know we could tweak some stuff. And it also in accordance with Powers' doc that he shared earlier. And I'm pretty confident, like 95% confident, this can get on Hacker Noon.
Yeah, Hacker. If you guys have a small budget, you can solidify a space for, I think it's about $120. So I can get you guys set up there if you'd like.
That'd be great. I have I'm like 2 for 2 for getting articles on Hacker Noon. So awesome. Like if that doesn't work, yeah, we'll totally go that route.
100%. Yeah. So you just usually pitch, and then if they don't pick it up, then you offer money.
That sounds good to me.
Oh, sorry, Ingemar. I was just going to say on that note, doing the interview with Bankless it's the Meet the Nations segment, which is I think the shorter formats. But yeah, I'll be doing that today. So I imagine that'll get posted later this week. I think I don't think he's on the call. This guy Michael, who has popped into the chats recently, he's in Australia. He kind of helped facilitate and set that up, and he was saying that he's hoping to kind of leverage some of the newer appearances that are happening to like kind of keep pushing on additional podcasts as well. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Ingemar. This is like a great direction, and I think we
do you know if that one's live? Is that the one that's live stream? Are you live streaming?
It might be. I don't know.
What shirt are you wearing?
The same shirt I always
Woman.
Yeah, you need to make a DXDAO shirt. Like put it like paste something over your level K.
I know. Where is the swag? I think we got to work on that.
I do think swag is a serious thing, or like we should start thinking about that seriously.
Well, we can get it very quickly from Meta Factory.
It's gotta be cool. It's gotta be cool.
Geronimo said we need a better DXDAO logo, or we need to put the DXDAO logo on steroids somehow.
Well, yeah, I imagine it needs to be like, how can the DXDAO logo be on different types of like media, and like rather than just like the circular one?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Sorry?
No, I was asking where's Zet, our designer guy.
Oh, Zet, yeah. I think Corcus is on the call. I don't know if he's paying attention, but yeah, I mean, I think it just needs to be formatted correctly, and we could put things on.
Cool. All right, so we're coming up on the hour exactly. Does anybody have some final words before we adjourn this call? Sounds like we can adjourn this call. Thanks for showing up, guys.
Sweet.